Hello, welcome to day 8 of the virtual reading fair. This is an intergenerational, intellectual reading model. We have children, youngest readers are age 6 and up. And what we do is we have 2 sessions, 11 a.m. Central Time and a 2:15 p.m. Central Time. And we read 45, 50 minutes in each session. Each reader, children, if it's a short book, will read an entire illustrated book. And adults are reading a poem or a newspaper or magazine article or 3 or 4 pages of a book, and then the participants ask the reader a couple of questions, and then we just go on. But so far, everybody's been learning, adult from adult, child from adult, adult from child. It's been a wonderful experience, and it's such an honor to be one of the hosts, and I'm so thankful for everyone that participated in it. And we also have educators on the call, which is very powerful for educators to be asking questions of young readers. Okay, so I'm Meredith McGee, the chair of Community Library Mississippi, and I'll let the other participants introduce themselves.
I'm William Fresh Jr. I joined Ms. McGee's publishing company in 2013. My first book was Reverse Guilty Plea. My second book was The New Populist Party, and I was published in 2018.
I'm Mary Hardy. Mary Hardy from Greenville, a retired teacher, author of 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack, and Snippets of Truth.
Okay, yes, I'm Vicki Jenkins. I am the co-chair of the Mississippi Community Library, and I am thankful to be a part of this reading fair. And today, I started yesterday, National Sunday. Today, I'm gonna read a few more pages from National Sunday Law.
Okay, Vicki, everybody else hadn't introduced themselves yet. Let everybody do the introduction.
Okay.
I'm Charlotte.
I am Janice Neal-Vincent. I am Janice Neal-Vincent, retired university professor and author, performance artist as well. I am happy to be part of this virtual session with my publisher on my second book, Meredith McGee.
I'm Charlotte. I'm Charlotte Meredith. I'm just a participant.
Charlotte is my cousin. I think she have a little hard reception. Go ahead. Lynette.
Yes. Okay, how you doing? I'm Lynette Stafford from Greenville. And I'm gonna say I'm glad to make it. I have really been enjoying.
Okay, Harry.
My name's Harry and I am 6 years old, and I'm going to the 1st grade, and I drew a picture.
Okay, so tell us who's in the picture.
Me and my brother.
Oh, wow.
My brother's shorter than me.
Very nice.
That is awesome. Harry the artist.
Very good.
Yeah. And that was
nice.
Everybody? Okay, so who's gonna read first?
I will.
Okay.
All right, let me read first.
Okay.
As you know, I have been doing Moments with Mary for the last 2 months, and I did it in order to keep my sanity So I have been collecting poems. So yesterday, my sister called me and she says, I'm going through some of my mama's stuff, and I have found 5 of her favorite poems that she had, stowed away over the years. So I'm going to read Longing for the Good Old Days. The way it was is gone for good, but it sure was good back then. No wonder we are always quick to ask, remember when. We savored life, we thank the Lord, even though those times were tough. We didn't have what we have now, but we sure had enough. We scrimped and saved to get ahead, but we mostly stayed behind. Till neighbors knew when we had needs and helped us in a bind. The good old days found us in church. We made sure we were there. We were one nation under God, so we took time for prayer. But now it seems we have backwards prone. We are wealthy, but we are poor. We have little time for those we love, while jobs we hate take more. But since we can't rewind the tape to those days of yesteryear, let's make the most of the time God gives and cherish those we are near. And that's by Greg Amopoulos. Longing for the Good Old Days. Thank you.
I like that. Nice.
So give us a summary of that poem.
Well, back then, it seemed as if times were good. They shared, they helped each other in times of need. Because if they were in a bind, someone would help them get out of it. But it seems as now we have forgotten those times, but times are still good. We're probably a little further behind than we think we are, but times are still good.
Well, I think about that. My mother's older sisters and brothers started leaving the farm in Mississippi in 1940. And my aunt said when she first got to Detroit, they would have to go to a local market. I think she said Asian people ran the markets, and they would cut the head of the chicken off live and defeather it while they waited, and she would put it. But at home, they did all of that on the farm. But I think that when we moved to the city, we became more consumers. When we were on the farm, I think we were more to true independence.
Right.
That's the difference that I saw
Producers.
when I learned the stories. When I became an author and I interviewed everybody, and I was able to evaluate what it was like on the farm and what it was like. So now I even plant things myself, and my aunt and uncle, they do a lot of planting. They even have a blueberry bush at home. Mom gave me some blueberries about a month ago, and I made some blueberry pancakes. But to me, if you can produce it, then you're not a complete consumer, which is how the money turns. All of the money goes to the person that owns the business or that is producing.
Right. Yeah, that's right. We were more producers back then, and we didn't look forward to going to the market. If we didn't have it, we made a way to have it right there on the farm. Right.
And people exchange things with one another, because my grandmother and other women, if someone had peas, crowder peas, and corn, and someone else had squash or tomatoes, they would swap with one another. And I think that was another good part of that life compared to now.
Right. There was a lot of bartering going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, teacher. That's the right word.
grandfather was
That's the
a
right word,
veterinarian.
bothering.
Okay.
My
Thank you.
grandfather was a
Thank you for that
veterinarian.
poem, Mary.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Who's reading next?
William was telling us something.
My grandfather was a veterinarian back during the Great Depression, and they traded in goods like vegetables and fruits and corn and green beans and black-eyed peas. They just exchanged that stuff in exchange for him working for people, taking care of the cattle and the livestock and everything.
Yeah.
What did you say your grandfather was, William?
He was a veterinarian.
Oh, he was a veterinarian.
He took care of cattle and livestock.
Yeah. I remember, Mr. Weathersby, Dr. Weathersby was our veterinarian. He'd come out and check on the horses and the cows when they became ill.
During the Great Depression, they didn't trade in money. They traded in like tomatoes and corn and anything they could barter. They bartered,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Good old days.
Yeah.
Who's reading next?
I can read next.
Okay, William, and then Lynette wants to go after William.
Okay, this is
It's
the
fine.
Bernie Sanders book, Making Higher Education Affordable. The world is changing. In the 21st century, a public education system that goes from kindergarten through high school is no longer good enough. The world is changing, technology is changing, our economy is changing. If we are to succeed in the highly competitive global economy and have the best educated workforce in the world, public colleges and universities must become tuition free. College affordability and student debt are in crisis. Young people graduate from college with huge debts. They should be looking forward to building independent lives and careers that they are weighed down by financial burdens. Graduation should mark a joyous new beginning, not the start of an anxiety-ridden, decades-long financial bind. One of the truly remarkable aspects of my presidential campaign, and quite frankly one that took me by surprise, was how the campaign resonated with young people. These vibrant voters were concerned about many issues, but the issue that was often upmost in their minds was that of the ever-escalating cost of college and the scourge of student debt. Whether they were thinking about attending college, were currently enrolled, or had already graduated, they were deeply worried that they would be saddled with an unsustainable amount of debt for years to come. Unfortunately, they were right to worry. Unlike other types of personal debt, they have been decreasing in recent years. Student debt has been steadily increasing. And all 44 million people, current students, graduates, and those who left college before graduating now owe more than 1.3 trillion in student loans. This is more than 5 times the amount of student debt in 2004 and more than all credit card and auto debt in the United States combined. And an increasing number of those 44 million people will carry their student debt throughout their entire lives. The high cost of student and college debt affects not only those who are in school and their families, but lower income and working class families who are simply not able to send their kids to college. Today in America, hundreds of thousands of bright young people who have the desire and the ability to get a college education will not be able to do so because their families lack the money. This is a tragedy for those young people and their families, but it's also a tragedy for our nation. How many scientists, engineers, business people, teachers, doctors, and nurses are losing because their higher education in this country is unaffordable for so many. It is disastrous not just for the individuals affected, but also for the future of our economy and our economic competitiveness. The United States used to lead the world in using people who graduated from college, which is one of the reasons we had the strongest economy in the world. Today, that is no longer the case. We now rank 15th in the number of young people who graduate from college, and we're falling further and further behind. Does anyone really not believe this will have severe economic consequences for the future of our economy, our way of life? I believe higher education in America should be a right for all, not a privilege for a few. That means that everyone, regardless of their station in life, should be able to get all the education they want and need.
That William, I really appreciate you reading the book by Bernie Sanders this week and last week. You really brought out a lot of issues that people are having to deal with, and I wrote an article for the Jackson, a contributing article for the Jackson Advocate a year or so ago, and I talked to someone who graduated in May, and between the three of them, the one that recently graduated had $50,000 worth of debt from going to a private HBCU, which is higher than a mortgage monthly. And the other two that I interviewed for the newspaper article had student loan debts that was actually higher than our mortgage. And they had obtained specialist degrees. So it seems that today, a college education, if you don't have scholarships, it's going to be where the average person will not be able to climb up because student loan debt is just too hard to start off after getting a college degree with the price of a mortgage in terms of your student loan debt and the cost of it. But that's just what I see of it. Anybody else want to ask him a question or have a comment?
I want to make a statement. I went to Ole Miss back from 1978 to 82. And back in those days, I got through Ole Miss without even having to work or anything, you know. And my father, we didn't get a loan or anything, and I was able to graduate. My father didn't have to pay too much money. The cost of education was real inexpensive back about 40 years ago, you know.
Oh, so your father paid your tuition?
Yeah, huh?
Okay. Yeah, that was a long time. Do you know what tuition was?
It wasn't hardly anything back in those days. You know? Not compared to today, it wasn't, you know.
Yes,
Billy, you make it seem like it was back in the old days, in the old ages. Back in the old ages.
Yesterday. Back in the old days. You was over there
with Curly Red. When you was over there with Curly Red, I was over there with the Bulldogs, and so we had to, borrow some of the money for us to go to the Bulldogs, Mississippi State.
The debt is crushing, and people have to realize you may have your dream school, but you may have to shop around. And people don't want to go to community college to take the same courses for less money. But I remember a friend talking about one day. She had an uncle or somebody. They used to tease about their student loans, and they thought they were kidding. But that person was in their 40s when they finally paid their debt off. Wow. And I have a master's, and we sacrificed for me to go to school. So I had no loans, but we had to sacrifice.
And you
And
can
when I got my master's, I was working.
So I can go.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying we sacrificed within the family. My husband sold his vacations, and we paid as we went. When I got my master's, if I could pay for one class, I took one class. If I could pay for two classes, I took two classes. So people, it's a crushing debt. It is. And it really does stop people from going further. They just have to, just maybe do a little shopping around, and maybe if the university you want to go to is expensive, maybe go to a cheaper university to get your degree.
Yeah, we need to have tuition-free colleges and also debt forgiveness,
Yeah.
That forgiveness, right.
And you make a good point, Lynette, that it's better to start with junior college before you go to a 4-year because of the less debt if you're going to go to college route. It's less debt to go to. And if you have any kind of scholarship, do not lose it. Keep your grades up. That's another problem. Sometimes people have scholarships and they don't keep the grades up. This is serious business to have a scholarship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Mary, you have a message in the chat. You have a message in the chat too, Mary, when you get a chance to look.
Okay.
About your poem.
And sometimes people won't even apply for these. They won't apply for the scholarship. They won't. And another thing, if you are, let's say, you approved for a loan for $7,000, but you only need $2,000. You don't need to get $7,000 and then buy a new car, buy a house, and then be traveling out, because these are loans that will not be forgiven. You can't.
That's right.
Yourself out of them. People would. I couldn't understand when I went back to school. I was grown, a wife, a mother, had my own home, and I couldn't understand how these children was able to have new cars, new clothes, all this makeup and hair. And then I realized they may have been offered $7,000. They only needed $2,000, but they were living. They were probably like it was 1999. And I realized that the piper was coming to get paid.
I think the Democratic platform is on call for tuition-free education this time around, in the presidential election.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is the school that you go to. I hate to say this, Billy, since you and I went to the, we did go to Colonel Reb and the Bulldogs, but when I started, I got a grant, and when I got my money for the grant, I'm thinking that when my brother started, he took some of my money, so I couldn't keep my grant. I had to give some of my grant to my brother. So I would think I would get more money, but he took some of the grant money from me, so he got some of mine. So
yeah,
grants are nice.
Yeah. Okay, so Lynette, you ready?
I'm gonna have to leave Ms. McGee. I got something I've got to do today. I've got to have a business meeting.
Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by and sharing. We appreciate you.
I'll talk.
All right, William.
Mary Hardy at you on Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good.
I'll be there.
Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
all right.
Okay, I'm picking back up with, we've got a job, the 1963 Birmingham Children's March. Cynthia Jefferson. And this is, like I said again, this is a book of people's personal experiences with the Children's March. They were children at the time. So we'll pick back up with Audrey Faye Hicks. And she was 9. All right. So it said, listen to the old folks talk. She learned the painful details, deep-seated racism. Negroes and white persons not to play together. Segregation in Birmingham wasn't just a way of life, it was the law. The city's racial segregation ordinances adopted in 1944, demanded almost total separation of blacks and whites. Many southern cities mandated separate drinking fountains, bathrooms, schools, and seats on buses for blacks and whites. But Birmingham's ordinances went even further. City law and local custom also required separate spelling bees, art festivals, parties, YWCA, meeting places, church services, courtroom Bibles for swearing in witnesses, seating in restaurants, and entrances to movie theaters where, if blacks were allowed to enter at all, they had to sit in the upper balcony. Blacks worked in white-owned restaurants, but they had to eat their own meals in areas that were separated from both white customers and white employees. The University of Alabama's hospital was segregated by floor, and most white doctors didn't bother to learn the names of black patients, using made-up names such as Bo for all the men and Bessie for the women. During the annual state fair, Thursday night was reserved for niggas and dogs. Officials even banned a children's book that showed pictures of a white rabbit marrying a black rabbit. In case blacks somehow forgot who was in charge, chimes in the tower of the protective life building played Dixie every afternoon. This unofficial anthem of the Confederacy reminded listeners that almost a century after slavery's end, blacks were still not truly free. Separate but equal. Birmingham adopted the racial segregation ordinances during a time when a system called separate but equal was legal in America. Developed by the Louisiana legislature in 1890, this policy was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1896 in a case called Plessy versus Ferguson. The court wrote that separate accommodations for white and colored races was allowable as long as the accommodations for each group were equal. Under this doctrine, Art Haynes, the mayor of Birmingham, could justify segregated parks. We have 4 swimming pools for whites and 4 for Negroes, he pointed out. 4 and 4. Now, nation. Have a golf course for them. Cost the taxpayers $22,000 a year to subsidize for the Negroes to play. Now, what is so wrong for them to play on their own golf course? There were several things wrong. Above all, the concept of separate but equal itself. Separation on the basis of race is simply unjust. Segregation was residue left over from slavery, the Civil War, and Reconstruction, the period when Southern whites felt that Northerners imposed integration on them against their will. In retaliation, whites established segregation codes and other means to draw strict lines between themselves and the blacks. Not only were the lines unjust, but also the way of life on either side of those lines was unequal. Public facilities such as parks, schools, and libraries assigned to blacks were always inferior to those for whites. And though laws, customs, and intimidation, through laws, customs, and intimidations, whites blocked blacks' access to the better jobs, nicer houses, and greater political influence that, that whites enjoyed. Black people throughout the South were quarantined and treated as if they might contaminate white people with an infectious disease. In any case, by 1963, the U.S. Supreme Court, acknowledging these inequities and injustices, had effectively overturned Plessy. In a series of decisions beginning in 1954, the court declared that segregation of public facilities was inherently unequal and therefore unconstitutional. Birmingham ignored these decisions. City ordinances continued to enforce segregation of private businesses, which was legal, and of public places, which was not. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of the ordinances. Revised periodically, the ordinance several chapters eventually cover every aspect of daily life. Here's a sample. Chapter 14, drugs and food. Section 369, separation of races. It shall be unlawful to conduct a restaurant or other place for the serving of food in the city at which white and colored people are served in the same room, unless such white and colored persons are effectively separated by a solid partition extending from the floor upward to a distance of 7 feet or higher, and unless a separate entrance from the street is provided for each compartment. And Chapter 23, gambling, section 597, Negroes and white persons not to play together. It shall be unlawful for a Negro and a white person to play together or in company with each other in any game of card or dice, dominoes, or checkers. In 1950, the city added to the list baseball, softball, basketball, or school game. Any person who, being the owner, proprietor, or keeper of or superintendent of any tavern, inn, restaurant, or other public house or public space, or the clerk, servant, or employee of such owner, proprietor, keeper, or superintendent knowingly permits a Negro and a white person to play together or in company with each other in any of these games with cards, dice, dominoes, or checkers, or any substitute or device for cards, dice, or checkers in a house or on his premises, conviction be punished as provided in section 4. And that's more reading from We've Got a Job, the 1963 Birmingham Children's March.
Well,
Any questions, comments?
yeah, I just want to comment that, you know, that's something I have never understood as why we have to have segregation. As an old lady, I still don't understand that. And we know that diseases don't discriminate. Based on what's going on now, they don't discriminate. So it's always been a question in my head.
Psychological.
Why it had.
It's psychological.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause it's still,
It's a way to make you feel better.
We have still come from way back in the day. We have not grown. You remember Charles Drew? Charles Drew developed blood donors. When he became ill, he couldn't get in the hospital in Yazoo City because he needed blood. He developed the blood donor, but he couldn't get blood donated to him because he was Black. And they couldn't let him in the hospital in Yazoo City.
There was a actress, I can't call who it was, and she went swimming. She went in a swimming pool in a hotel, and they drained the whole pool because she dipped her toe in there and she swam in such. But Black people could wet nurse your babies. Black people could feed, could cook for you. Black people could wash you. Now, what you think is be more? I mean. Okay, we can wet nurse your babies, but we can't dip our feet in the pool.
But in a way, I think we still have segregation because we don't have the money allocated from the state in the same way that it wasn't. I mean, like we have the Black golf course that was built in Jackson in 1964, us, so we wouldn't go to their golf course. We had funding issues with that. The bridge is out over there. When the state legislature gives out money, they give more to other areas than they do to the capital city, which is predominantly Black. I think nearly 80%. Even now, because of the pandemic, they had passed a bill to give teacher raises, which the public school really serves more Black children than anybody else, because in Mississippi, the whites can go to the better schools in the suburbs or in the better performing school, or they can pay to go to private schools. And the average Mississippian doesn't make a lot of money, and our minimum wage is $7.50, and that's where we are in terms of earning. Most of the masses of us are still no wage earners, and because that's why we're the first responders during this pandemic, because those are the jobs that we have: service, retail.
So we do still have blatant segregation.
I go you one better by segregation.
As long as we're here.
At home in Clarksdale, we still have highways. On one side of the highway is our side of the highway, and across the highway is their side of the highway. we couldn't go across the highway, and they would never come across ours. But it is still like that. It's still one side of the highway or the other side of the highway, and it's still like that.
In Clarksdale, Mississippi?
And Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Now, when I went to your mother's funeral, well, what part of the highway was that?
We were on our side of the highway. That was it. That was our side of the highway.
And what you were saying, Janice?
Well, there are so many things that I was saying to myself as I was speaking, but we have to remember that we are the people who were dragged over here against our will. It never was intended for us to have freedom in the first place. And that's why this Willie Lynch, Christopher Columbus, Blondie White House situation is existing. Another thing is we have been yes people in different positions for so long as our people have been kept back away from the reality of the funding, for instance, that you mentioned, Meredith. A lot of people have sat on boards, even in the Board of Education, even to today, and they are simply yes people, going along with what the system has already dished out to us. There are many people who are fighting on the front line, and they are losing their lives as a result of it. But even at that, there are so many things in the dark for our people. And that's the reason why many of us who leave this particular state come back, knowing that there's no money here for us, but we have our people here. And we try to work to help our people see a difference. Even in talking about the value of an education, coming out to be in debt at the outset is a burden. And it continues, this systemic racism continues to perpetuate itself across the color line. Even when we go to the different meetings, one to another, we go back home to the segregated house, the segregated community, whatever the case may be, even in terms of striving to make a difference. And we still have to do these things, because if we don't do these things, that would mean that the children who are yet to come will not know what road to travel. So we've always been a race of people to give back to the community. Dr. King told us when I was coming up, go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, to make a difference there, knowing that our hands are tied. And then we have to add some folks in our race who want all the glory for themselves, and they will snitch on the rest of us in order to be where they are striving to be, or to remain where they are. And so it's not just the other race that's dealing with this systemic racism. There are folk inside our own race, as you well know, you ladies I'm talking to, who do this kind of thing because they want to be the one on the block to tell the others what to do, how to do, as they are getting money under the table. All of that is still going on. It has not left.
And we have always had a Black mayor too. The ESPYs, we've always had a Black mayor, like Chuck Espy now is our mayor, and things have not ever really changed. Now, you would think that Espy, Chuck Espy, or whoever, because his daddy Espy, he was the mayor. Nothing has ever changed. It's still this, you know, the economy hasn't grown. Our class from high school, none of us have come back home to live. Once we graduated, everybody went this ways. And
well, Vic, I
Nothing
just
is
heard.
ever.
Vic, I just heard in the news that a rapper, I think he lives in Florida now. He went back home. He was born in Clarksdale, and he put up a business. The rappers have a concept, buy back the block. And I was so proud that he went back to Clarksdale and put up this business to bring economic development. You know, he's giving back. And for someone to come to make it where he has made it, you know, a millionaire, and to come and bring a business back, if we could just get more people like him to invest in our underdeveloped communities, we would really make a big difference.
And unfortunately, we have just started making blues a tourist attraction. Growing up, blues was never made our tourist attraction. Now we're using blues to make it our tourist attraction. So now some people has come up with the idea, since we had blues all our life, we're making blues now our tourist attraction. Morgan Freeman, he's opened up a blues club. So he's trying to make making it our tourist attraction now.
Yeah, he's been had that blues club at least 10 years. That blues club, it used to be on
Ground Zero.
Television.
I think it.
Well, it's called Ground Zero. Now,
I had lunch there one day.
It is sharp. Yes, it is sharp. Yeah.
I had lunch there
In
several
case
years
y'all
ago.
never really did know, there is a hotel on the second and third floor of Ground Zero, and you got to pay some money for it, but there is a hotel above.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope one day to be able to afford it. But look, y'all,
But you think about people come from around the world.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they come from around the world. Yeah.
Right. You had a blues festival. You had a blues festival in Greenville, and people literally come from around the world to experience blues. You have in Indianola, the BB King Museum, and so it's a business. So if you can draw tourists to your area, that helps the economy.
Okay,
Unfortunately, that is so very true. It is just not becoming big, because there've always been businesses to try to come, but they've only stayed a minute and then they close. So hopefully since this is coming up, and hopefully the business will continue. And so hopefully so. But everybody has tried to hold a business way back when I was growing up, but the business didn't stay long.
Well,
but people, if the community does not support the business, it won't stay. If the community does not support the business, it will not stay.
Well, that is so very true, and that is so very true. But the community would not support the business, but the business did not stay long enough for the community to support it. Quote, Mr. Charlie, he couldn't let the business stay in town because we were improving on Mr. Charlie's land, because it was a whole lot of cotton players growing around us. So we didn't have businesses because it impugned Mr. Charlie's land. That's basically what it was. We had to call up several different, stores and businesses, and they all stayed just a short period of time for us to support the business. So
the 61 Blues Museum, where Pat sings live, and he's one of the few people that can sing and play live. And that museum has a lot of traffic. I was there one day. He was playing live, and a busload full from Canada came by, and they give him tips, and he goes out and shows them where his dad is buried and where some of the other famous people are buried. It's really a big business, and even now in Jackson, Jesse Robinson is one of the few who can play, from the old school. But we have it's almost 11, so we could have one more person to read something short before we let Henry, because he likes to go last. Harry. So anybody want to read now, and then we'll let Harry take us. But I really enjoyed the discussion. It's just that I try to respect everyone's time and try to keep it within 55 minutes or so.
Well, we'll let Harry go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
let
wait a
Harry
minute.
go.
Janice, did you want to read a poem?
Well, I can wait until later. I don't have a poem, but I do have a passage from the book that I quoted from yesterday, but I can wait until next time.
The next time, okay, yeah, and I can too, because I really enjoyed the discussion behind the readings, you know, in terms of segregation and resegregation, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
Charlotte, are you still with us? I think she is. She's on mute. Okay, Harry, are you ready?
Has Harry left?
I think he done clicked. He was. I think he's trying. Oh, he's back with us now.
There he is.
Yeah, clicked it off by
Okay,
mistake.
there he is.
Click off. Okay, Harry.
Had to get his breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Everyone needs.
Okay, what? Hold on, Harry. Oh, let's see. Hold it up one more time.
Something everyone needs.
Something everyone wants. That boy, that sounds interesting. What did you read yesterday?
Okay.
What Joy found.
Now tell me the name of this. I'm gonna type it in so everybody can see it. Whatever.
What Joy found.
All right, what are you reading today?
Something everyone needs.
He is so patient with us.
He is. He's a dog. It's a very comfortable chair. Better than mine.
Nell liked to make new things. She wanted to make things people really needed. Each day she would get her tools. Each day she would sit down on the table. Each day she would try to make something new. Tell me what you need, she would ask her mother. Tell me what you need, she would ask her father. Tell me what you need, she would ask everyone she meets. No one could tell her they could not think of anything they needed. One day, Nell sat by the tree. Think as she sat by the trees, she could see Mom planting seeds. Mother dug holes one by one. She took each seed one by one. She planted each seed one by one. Nell thought, I know what she needs. She needs something to help her plant seeds, and I'm going to make it. Just wait until they see this, said Nell. She went to get some cups. She went to get some sticks and forks too. She had to reach for the Then she reached tape. Then she reached for the glue and wood. Now, next, Nell put holes in the cup. Then Nell put glue on each cup and she put the cups together. She put 3 forks on the wood. She put the cups and the wood together with the glue. She tried to be very neat. What are you making? Asked Mother. It is done yet. It's done yet. Do you need help? We I use will I use it to eat? It is something you need, said no, but you will not eat with it. You will help you work. It will make planting seeds easy. Come outside and see it, said Nell. She took the seeds and put them in the cup, and the forks dug holes, and the seeds dropped out of the cup in a neat row. The seeder worked. It was easy to plant seeds now. It's what will be a real help, said Mother. I want to tell everyone what you made, something I really needed. 3 weeks later, it was time for the fair. Everyone would be there. Nell and her mother and father went too. I love the fair, said Nell. We get to eat lots of treats. We can go on rides and play games. It's easy to have fun here. Now Mother and Father went to the animal feed. The animals now fed a big horse and an apple. She fed the hen some corn. Next they went to play games. Nell ran in the race with her father. She tried to win a real goldfish. They walked into a room filled with pies. Eat a little bit of each one and tell me which is best. Said the woman. Nell took a bite of each. She liked it eating pies. It is time to go home yet? Asked Nell. I'm getting tired. We have one more room to see. Her father. They walked into the big room. There was Nell's theater with a sign. The next to it. The sign said, Nell's theater, something everyone needs. The end.
That is
job.
very
Good
good,
job.
Mary. That is very good.
Bravo.
What did you like the best about the book?
About the cedar. That's what I like.
My question is, what was the cedar made from?
Wood,
Wood. Okay.
cup, 2 cups, glue, and forks.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Very good. Very
job.
You have great understanding.
good. Very great. Understand. Wow.
We are very pleased with you, Harry.
Yes.
We are very pleased with you, Harry.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to follow you, track you from first grade all the way through college.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll have to all go to graduation, won't we?
We'll have to go to graduation. Very good, Harry.
Harry, can I sing a song to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Good job, good job, good job, good job. G-O-O-D-J-O-B, good job, Yay, Harry!
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're
are
welcome, baby.
You're welcome.
Meredith. Oh, Harry, can you tell us one thing that you learned from the other readings that you heard today?
I forgot.
Okay.
A lot to remember.
It's been a long morning. Okay, Harry, can you give us a summary of your book, and also can you give us your final thoughts before we end the meeting?
I don't have thoughts, but I do have a summary.
Okay. Okay.
So Nell liked to make things each day. She asked everyone she saw what they needed. One day she sat under a tree and saw her mom planting seeds. She had to dig one hole at the time and plant one seed at the time. So Nell made the cedar. And after 3 weeks, they went to the fair. They went to different rooms. And then at the last room, there was a certificate and a sign on Nell's cedar and a picture of Nell's cedar. And that's it.
Oh, very good.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you so much. And so
Fantastic.
we're in this meeting, and we'll continue at 2:15. It's been wonderful. Thank you all. And Harry, you are so blessed. You have a lot of new friends now. All right, see you guys later, and I will upload the video.
All right, have a good one. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.